Hello, everybody. 99 Days. How is everybody tonight? It's not too bad here. The snow is slowed down, so hopefully it'll be better for my big long drive tomorrow. I'm just saying. So anyway, I hope everybody's doing all right. And if you're not, I have a good thought for you in my heart. I'll send you telepathic health. I'll just try and do what I can. So anyway, I told you I was going to do a video on George Soros. Well, here it is. It's a little lengthy, so you better hang on. George Soros. He's Jewish, philanthropist, pro-democracy. That pretty much sums him up in a nutshell. He's started out as a hedge fund manager and investor, made a bunch of money. He's a Hungarian-born Jew, an American businessman, an investor, a philanthropist, founder of Soros Fund Management. As of February 2023, Forbes estimated George Santos' real-time net worth at $6.7 billion. That's a lot of money. But he's also donated almost 64% of his lifetime wealth, over $32 billion, has been donated to help oppressed people. So the guy's not all that bad, right? So, 1970, he founded his hedge fund business. And from 1970 to 2011, he got an average of 20% return on investments for him and clients. It's pretty good. So in 2011, he restructured the Soros Management Fund and turned it into a family office focusing on his personal investments. And he's donated so much money. In 1992, he made over $1 billion by betting against the British pound and his investments and whatnot, and he became known as the man who broke the Bank of England. That's right. He also has Quantum Group funds, and they invest worldwide in public equity and fixed income markets, transportation, energy, retail, a lot of good things. So he believes in an open society, and an open society is one where the government works to protect individual freedom, and in my opinion, the Republicans want a closed society, and that's where the citizen's role is to serve the state and the church. Doesn't sound too good, does it? Now, in the United States, Open Society Foundation works with organizations and individuals who seek to address profound racial, economic, and political inequities while funding efforts to prepare for future challenges. It's always good to be prepared. In 1979, George started his philanthropic work, funding scholarships to Black African students in South Africa during apartheid, and Eastern European dissidents to study in the West to learn about the democratic ways and peaceful solutions. Now, the first conspiracy theories about George Soros really started getting underway when he condemned the Iraq War in 2003. And at the time, 93% of Republicans supported taking Iraq by force, 66% of independents supported it, and 59% of Democrats supported it. But by 2007, that number dwindled a lot. So this is when George started donating millions of dollars to Democrats because he didn't think that they believed in it either, and he wanted to help. So ever since then, the right-wing commentators and politicians started going after him, and now the hate is turning into violence. And there's no fact at all. None. There is zero fact because these people don't research and look into anything. They just believe whatever's going down the road. So 8 months into Trump's presidency, August 2007, neo-Nazis held their Tiki Torch rally. Remember that? Jews will not replace us. Well, that was in Charlottesville, Virginia, where 32-year-old Heather Heyer lost her life. Right-wingers decided that the violence was funded by George Soros, which it was not. Him being a Jew and living through Nazi-occupied Hungary would not have done something like that. The man has a conscience. But anyway, they said that George Soros funded this just to make it bad for Donald Trump. And then that idiot, Alex Jones, the screaming Mimi there, chimed in saying Soros was the deep state. That's where that started. And he was just out there to ruin Donald Trump. Like, he wasn't doing a good enough job on his own, I'm just saying. So anyway, at the end of the Cold War and the fall of the Soviet Union in the late 80s, 90s, it happened because of the open society theory. People were getting international news, Soros-funded Democrats, the democratic way of life, politics, science, etc., and peaceful protests and education bursaries, scholarships. One of the most debunked Soros quotes was, and Trump has used this both in his 2016 campaign and I believe a couple times during the 2020 campaign, where he says that Soros has made it his life's mission to destroy the United States. I hate this country and I hate all of the people in it. It's supposed to be Newsweek, 1979. Well, guess what, people? There is no evidence anywhere about that article and that George Soros said any of that stuff. And even better, there's no evidence that Newsweek ever reported that anywhere. There's no trace evidence, nothing. You can't trace anything back to Newsweek about that because it didn't exist. Somebody made that shit up, and because hate seems to be the way of the world, that's what made it to the front page. Never happened. Soros gives to organizations that work on issues that focus on promoting tolerance, transparency, and open debate, something the Republicans do not agree with. They want it their side and their Christian ways. Well, what they think is Christian ways. He promotes equality, justice, and freedom of expression, which the Republicans are fighting up and down hard as hell not to be able to do anymore. You can't tell anybody who you are. You can't tell who your parents are. If you're LGBTQ, you don't have two mommies, you don't have two daddies, you don't even mention that. Try and explain that to a kid in kindergarten. Can't talk about your other mommy, just one of us. But anyway, a Hungarian Jew who survived the Holocaust and fled communism, made it to England in 1947, worked his way through university, got a master's in science and philosophy by 1954. All on his own, worked his way through. So, Republicans say their attacks on Soros have nothing to do with anti-Semitism. We just follow the money. That's where all this bullshit comes from, the anti-Semitism. Everything is about the Jews are taking over the world. The Jews have all the money. Not quite so. Have you seen the Koch family? Really? They have over $118 billion. George Soros has $6.4 billion. Just saying. And Soros helps people and industry and energy, science. Koch brothers, think tanks, Heritage Foundation. Yeah. So anyway, back to this. Elise Stefanik says, well, all the Republicans are saying now that Alvin Bragg is a Soros DA, that Soros bought him. Not even remotely true. And here's why. Bragg, linked to Bragg, that Soros donated $1 million to an organization called the colorofchange.org PAC during Bragg's primary campaign in 2021. The PAC urged voters to back Alvin Bragg, but never directly donated any money to him. Now, they're going on about all this money that Soros donated to Alvin Bragg, but even if that was, the $1 million was less than 1/3 of what the Bragg campaign raised on their own. So that's kind of a moot point. You know who bought him? The people that voted for him. That's how he got to be the DA. People voted for him in a democratic society. That's how it works. Money was never transferred from Color of Change to Bragg. Or did Soros give Bragg any money, either directly or indirectly? Because that stuff is all in the book somewhere. You can look up donations to all these people and all these campaigns, and it tells you who donated, what company they worked with, what charitable organization donated, all that stuff. You can find that out. And there's no trail leading to George Soros or any of his organizations other than when he gave the $1 million to Color of Change. Now, I think the Republicans should be just fine with big donors given to campaigns, just as they are with the Koch brothers given to all the Republicans as the 14th richest family in the world. Yes, in the world. And they donate now to the extreme MAGA right, the Heritage Foundation, etc. It's the Koch brothers. That's who's doing that. Now, it's funny how George Soros went from, this is a good quote from Paul DeCezo de Holzer. He's got a master in international affairs from the University of South Carolina. He said, it's funny how George Soros went from being Putin's worst nightmare to the boogeyman for the MAGA conservatives. Isn't that the truth? Now, to recap George Soros, he had no family money, built everything on his own. Paid for his own way through college, and paid really good attention in his economics class. Now, after living a nightmare as a Jew in Hungary during the World War II and Hitler's fascist regime, formed his education around helping oppressed people. In 1947, he fled the Iron Curtain on his own, got to Britain, went to school, and ended up with 2 master's degrees. Now, he's also pro-LGBTQIA, pro-choice, freedom of speech, and freedom of the press. He wants the press to remain truthful and give accurate accounts. It's kind of hard these days. Nonpartisan is what he's looking for. And he's also wants legalization of marijuana. He's fighting for that too. But anyway, in my opinion, the Koch brothers are Christian nationalists. They love deregulation and influencing the Supreme Court of the United States. Because think of this. Who else would have a ton of money that they didn't really need? When Kavanaugh was running, he had to get that money off of his books there so he'd be able to be nominated, because you can't have all that debt because you can be bought, right? And all of a sudden, $200,000 in credit card debt and a $92,000 country club debt just disappeared. Like Penn and Teller, man, just went in there and disappeared that money just like that. And all of a sudden, he could run no problem because he didn't have any debt. But he's kissing somebody's ass, and I bet you it's the Koch brothers. But yeah, they're involved in the Federalist Society and a super secret organization, the CNP, that back anti-abortion, anti-LGBTQ, and anti-women legislation. They back all those horrible things, and that's who the Koch brothers are. So make up your mind. Is it Soros is the boogeyman, or is it the Koch brothers? I'm going with the Koch brothers. Naughty Nana loves you. Be good. Be safe. I'll probably talk to you on Sunday. If you like it, thumbs it up. If you like your family and friends, give it a share. And please, subscribe to my channel. I love you all. Sorry this has gone over a little bit, but I love you. Mwah. Have a good night. Sleep tight.